Yeah, so today we have Ashish Jain, CEO of JSS, with us, and we have an opportunity to learn from him about incubation and various aspect of business startup up to scaling. I have spoken to a lot many startups and founders in past couple of weeks, and we collected a lot of questions in terms of asking with various people who we are interviewing. So first question which comes that okay, about incubation stages, etc. But before we go there, would like to know from you that about the JSS, that what are the activities at JSS happens and how we really help startup.
Thank you, Ashish, for inviting me. A pleasure to be here. JSS Business Incubator is India's first technology business incubator, started 18 years ago. And this is, it used to be doing entrepreneurship development. And now, of course, the buzzword is startups, and it is doing the startup mentoring. What we are doing basically is being extended brother or extended arm of a founder who is into entrepreneurship. It is a tough journey, and in case somebody can lend his hand to smoothen the process, it is always welcome. So we are doing it based on whatever best we are able to do in certain sectors. So we have started doing this journey since last many years, and it is all success right now.
Great. So, any specific eligibility criteria when the people incubate at JSS?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, we cannot have all the know-how in the
Yes.
world. So we have to filter out on certain things which we know better, and
Correct.
that's why information technology remains the core. So anybody who's using information technology as a strategic input or their
Okay.
business or
Okay.
business expansion, that
Okay.
remains our first criteria. So,
Okay.
in case somebody is doing business without any information technology intervention, then we are not in a position to help, because we feel with IT they can scale, and then we also can enable many other things.
Okay. Okay. Great. So basically, can I take it this way that the any startup which uses technologies to help businesses or solve problems, they are the preferred one,
Right.
right?
So technology is one. Second is innovation. In case they are innovating in a space which is even disruptive, we can take it. But in case they are not disrupting and doing some Me Too idea using technology, that is also taken. But in case the execution power of the founder is found to be great, then only we take it.
Okay, great. One more question comes generally. People are a little confused about the difference between incubator and accelerator kind of a situation. So, would you like to put some light on that?
Yeah, so we have co-working spaces these days, and if you consider incubator in the past, it used to be the co-working space of today.
Right.
So just merely having facility is not what incubator generally do now. Accelerator is how we can compress the growth as well as accelerate the success or failure of a startup in a very compressed time.
Correct.
Why I'm saying failure also is to be compressed, because we don't want them to linger on for multiple years, wasting their money. In case they want to fail or they need to fail, should fail within 6 to 8 months. And in case they need to grow, they should grow within this period.
Yeah.
Once this potential of growing or failing is established, then we can take them for the growth path. So it is the acceleration which an incubator does, and that's what makes them different from the co-working.
Sure. So basically, the message here is that fail if you have
fail
to,
fast or succeed
but fail
fast.
fast or fail cheap.
Fail fast, fail cheap, or succeed fast.
Yeah, succeed fast.
And mentoring is definitely one of the areas which is part of this acceleration tool.
Yes.
So acceleration cannot happen without industry mentors who are available in their professional life, in case they are domain experts, technology
Yes.
experts, go-to-market experts, sales experts. So those connections are also something which an incubator enables.
Right. So the next question is on the, do you help also to raise the fund at the early stage for the startups?
Yeah, so we also have our own funds which government gives us to disburse. Those funds are of the ticket size between 10 to 30 lakh rupees. Moreover, we have a lot of investors. There's no limitation of the investors or dearth of the investors these days. They're looking for good startups, and we are one of the channel for them to identify such startups. In fact, another good benefit for investors to source it from us is generally we give them those startups where they are the first institutional investors, so valuation is generally good, and that's why a lot of investors are associated with us as well as with many other incubators.
Would you like to share some of the success of startups recently with JSS?
Yeah, so we have had railyatri.com, which has been the biggest success for us. It has turnover of more than 100 crore right now.
Great.
Nandan Nilekani also has invested. Another is Circuit Sutra, which does simulation of the circuits without even fabrication of circuits.
Okay.
And they have Japanese investors backing them. We have Compass, who is a learning management platform. They have coaching institutes as their customers. We have Shalios, which is a smart helmet, reducing pollution from using the helmet. We also have many success stories. In fact,
Sure.
out of 154 companies we have incubated so far, 31 are being incubated currently, and we have a success ratio of 38%. 59 companies are successful, and our definition of success is any company who is more than 5 years sustaining is success.
Of course.
Anybody getting funding and then dying is not our definition
Absolutely.
of success.
Absolutely.
So we can say industry average is 10 to 14%, our is 38%.
Yeah, and it also, people say that 97% startups fails or 95% fails, right?
Yeah, they say
So,
1 in 10 fails,
1 in 10.
1 in 10 succeeds.
Yes.
And that is why it becomes 10%.
Yeah.
Some say some IITians probably succeed 1 in 7.
Right.
Not 1 in 10. So it makes 14%. So industry average is 10 to 14%, but
Correct.
our success ratio is 38%.
That's nice. That's great. On the funding, one more question is there that people talk about that 10,000 crore fund of the government. Is that also comes through incubators like you?
No, that is not meant for incubators. That is meant for venture capitalists.
Okay.
So out of which, out of 10,000, about 4,600 already has been disbursed to venture capitalists.
Right.
Who are SEBI registered venture capitalists. And they are already giving it to the startups.
Through VCs they are giving.
Yes.
Through
VCs.
VCs.
It is the channelizing. VC is a channelizing agency, not incubators.
Not incubator there. Yeah. So that's one of the confusion people had. So I thought let me clarify.
Yeah. You will not even know.
Yes.
And they have various restrictions. This fund, when they give to VC, it can be maximum 1/6 of the other funds they bring into the fund.
Correct. Also on the incubation side, when the startup get incubated with you, as you rightly said, that technology driven is more focused, especially at JSS. So are they mostly B2B or they are also B2C in terms of startup?
Yeah, we have seen a pattern of more B2B with us. Why? Because in case it is B2C, generally they need more funding.
Correct.
Any market-driven or a consumer-driven product launch needs a lot of publicity.
Absolutely.
And that we generally are not arranging as of now. So we end up having more or attracting more B2B companies or B2B startups who are working closely with business consumers, or it could be a B2B2C. So that means they have customers who are bulk buyers. Ultimately, that bulk buyer is selling to the end customer. So it could be B2B or B2B2C.
On B2B side, generally the startups are early stage founders. They don't have experience many times in terms of working with corporate or working with other B2B companies. So how is the experience like in terms of, are they able to sell to B2Bs and the sales cycles as B2Bs in India because they don't have habit of buying online and they need more of personal interactions. So what kind of success and failure we have seen there?
It's a mix, but it's more on the success side. Of course, there are failure stories also, but what the fact is, we generally attract those founders who have good experience.
Okay.
Now, why do we attract that? It is the industry standard.
Right.
Most people do not jump just after college.
Correct.
In fact, our average is 12 years experience age.
Wow.
Average.
Okay.
So that means people varying from 4 years experience age to 25 years experience age come to us.
Then it's, yes.
And those who are not able to or have no exposure to sell in the corporate, we connect. We help them. Early customers, we help them.
That is important. Yeah. That is very, very important. Yeah.
So we also tell them how to pitch, what is the cycle time, how much you have to negotiate, what your value proposition you have to bring into them, and those things are part of the mentoring to those companies.
Correct. Because maybe the question one more comes in, that whether the Indian corporates or the other corporates which are there in the country are now started opening towards the startup ecosystem, and what is your experience in that area?
In fact, it is very intuitive that big companies will go for startups offering first, but it is not that way. Medium level companies are much swifter in adopting startup products. Bigger companies have still that mentality of go safe, and what if this company doesn't exist, and the decision maker has to justify why this company. Those challenges are more in the bigger company.
Correct.
And in the medium to small, this is not a major problem. When I'm saying medium also is probably 2,000 people company.
Right. Yes.
And when I'm saying big or large companies, those are probably 50-60,000 people company.
Correct.
So those 50-60,000 people company is hard to get.
Right. And there is also a gap, like if you see the government also saying, and everybody is saying ecosystem, that MSMEs are getting disrupted with the new startup, logistics and other stuff which is coming. MSMEs are also struggling about digitalization, right, in terms of. So do you see that startup are there which are coming to solve their problems?
Of course, startups are sensing it much swiftly. Be it MSME or be it any big corporate. In fact, big corporates have to come to adopt their offerings sooner than they think, because otherwise they would not have a market share intact.
Yes.
And moreover, the bigger problem for them is their customer at times say they're not innovating enough. So how do they innovate enough? They don't have a productization method in the organization. So they have to take the offerings of all those available in the market and piggy bank on that.
Correct. So there is also a buzz in last couple of years about the IoT and IoT startups. Lot many were coming, right, in terms of. So how is currently doing? Is there a success? Because as the industry, what we see, IoT adoption has not happened the way it was supposed to, right? So how it is impacted, or positive or negative, to a startup ecosystem?
I would say this is the initial stages for IoT adoption. Smart city projects have big role of IoT adoption.
Yes.
Even 5G is yet to come, when machines to machine will talk. So we are all gearing up. There are a lot of projects which are already in the pilot stage, proven themselves, struggling to sell in multiple volume quantity. But of course, once they have an opportunity, when the time comes, I think IoT or 5G is still about a year and a half away. So when this comes, they would have an opportunity to make a killing.
One more question comes from especially the B2B startups. When they try and sell to corporate, maybe a mid-size, like you said, B2B customers have a expectation that, okay, show me your product, do a POC, or give me a pilot, and sometime it happens that startups puts a lot of effort in delivering and meeting the expectations, and then a lot of customization happens to meet the customer expectation at the end of it, without any commitment, and sometimes they lose money also in doing that. So is there any input to startups that how they should do this so that they fail fast and
Yeah. So we already have thought about it and have a very, very effective model. Uh, we don't ask our startups to give a free pilot.
That's good.
So when it is free, anybody in the corporate can decide to engage in this pilot.
Absolutely.
Even a low junior manager can decide because there's nothing. So we ask the corporate as well as the startup to engage into an agreement with a non-disclosure agreement and a partnership agreement that this is the service which they are providing or an offering they are providing on these outcome basis, and at the end they would explore such a such possibility. And whether this is going to be paid pilot, it may have a value of even 1 rupee.
Yes.
But it has to have at least one value, some value, so that it is a conscious decision in the corporate to even accept and authorize that 1 rupee payment.
Yeah, because there will be a business justification to that spend.
Business justification, moreover, a relevant stakeholder would get
involved. Yes. Otherwise, at a lower level, anybody take decision and he beats his own KRA, and
that's what's been our experience. We have brought these startups in contact with corporate, and somebody junior took a decision. Let's go for this. In case it works, good. In case it doesn't work, then also good. And these people, the startups end up failing in that particular scenario. They waste their time and also motivation.
Correct. So at the last, I would like to ask you a couple of maybe messages which you would like to give it to entrepreneurs at maybe a product and idea stage, and then at a incubation, and then you say the next stage of growing, and then to a scaling.
Product and ideation stage, my only input, and which I am quoted multiple times, I want people not to make an Amitabh Bachchan of their product, because many people are so passionate about making their product that they forget about the customer. So customer centricity absolutely is lost. They keep on putting effort, putting a lot of time, and ends up that customer don't want these things. So I say, you out of 100 features, you just take 20 which are self-sufficient.
Yes.
Launch it, take the customer feedback, and rest 80 should be based on the customer feedback.
Absolutely.
So go fast into the market.
Right.
And when it comes to incubation, anybody who has made a product, made the pilot or prototype, then only come to incubator. Not before that. Even incept or incorporation of the company should happen only after this particular pilot or a product prototype is ready.
That's a very good input, actually. Yes.
Yeah, people don't need a prototyping stage. At that particular stage, they don't need to form a company. So it is a validation enough that whether they would fail or they are making something which they would take to the market. Once it is established, then only form a company and come to the incubator.
In this case, situation, there is one confusion which comes in people's mind, is that, okay, if I don't have a company, how do I protect the interest between the founders? Because if MVP need to be created without company formation, there has to be some understanding, right? Now that understanding is not there because there is no legal entity. So that is the only thing which comes into the people's mind. I generally tell them, okay, fine, you can have MOU and start with. But what is your take on that?
In case this becomes a major issue from the company, but I think this does not become a major issue most of the time, because what is the value of the company which they want to protect? If there is no value they have created,
IP or something,
no IP, no prototype, they are not sure of themselves. Even if they have an agreement for zero value is nothing.
Correct. And the stage of funding, fund or no fund, or when or bootstrap, what should they do, and what is stage?
These days, Indian investors also have not been funding very raw. That means you have to have a pilot or prototype ready, which you can show to the world, and then only you seek for funding. Many people ask, how do they make such a progress? Because even if a prototype, a hardware-based prototype needs 5 lakhs, 10 lakh, where do they get this money? Investor will not give. So they have to arrange it from their own sources or family and friends. If that is also not possible, probably they have to partner with somebody who is the financier, financial supporter or financial investor in their initial
stage. Yes.
But they have to identify that first before making even the pilot. If that is not available, investor per se, the incubator and investors would not come. So once the prototype is ready, then go for the validation from the market, have some traction. Once the traction or validation has been established, then some investors may be interested. Even incubators would be interested.
For entrepreneurs, are there any don'ts which you want to recommend? Those we have discussed a lot. Yes.
Don't be. I think founders are very strong-headed people.
Yes.
And they need to be, because it's a very difficult journey. So, but I would say don't take decisions emotionally. You could have an emotional reason to start your business. So something happened in your life, and based on which you felt this is a healthcare product you must make. But once you have decided that this is the journey you have to take, thereafter, every day you don't take emotional decisions.
Yes.
So take a rational decision, have opinion from others. Like Karamveer. Karamveer वो होते हैं जो सबकी सुनते हैं, करते अपने मन की. So be Karamveer, and then also have an open mind for a lot of inputs from other founders, because many times founders also infight, and that also is a reason between them to fail. So product market fit is the first most common reason, and second is their infighting. So they must make an arrangement right in the beginning. What should they do in case there is a difference of opinion? Decide it right in the beginning, and they should be of complementary skills. Should not join just because they both are BE.
Correct. Yeah, co-founder always good to have complementary skills. Yeah, it's must actually. Right. Not only good to have, it's not like nice to have, it is must to have.
Right.
So that you can have roles and responsibility defined, and you decide on that area, and ultimately if one is from marketing, one is from the business side, then definitely they have their own passion to follow. Right. And then they can do it. Yeah, it's a great point. Last, what is the mentorship role? And in today's world, the mentoring is required at every stage of life. We all need mentors, as I feel, right? What is your take or maybe message to other entrepreneurs or founders to have mentor? What should step they should take? What kind of mentoring they should go for? Any suggestion?
So mentoring has also changed over a period of time. Initially, people have been thinking that mentoring is advice.
Right.
And founders don't need advice.
Yes.
So they have not been valuing the mentoring piece itself. So that was the first stage. Most founders have come beyond that. Second piece of mentoring, second stage of mentoring is give connections, which they invariably will lag. So in case a good mentor can connect them with their industry specific connections, it's valued. Third stage is market access. In case I can open doors as a mentor with resources, with resourcefulness, I can open door for them to connect into a corporate or potential buyer or potential vendor. That is more valued. So these are three stages. Even a mentor has to graduate. Advise everybody. India has full of mentors which are just sending
Full of advisors.
full of advisors. They just have advice. They have nothing else to do. They become advisors. So I think connections and market access is important for valued mentor.
Adding value to the business is more important. That's what meant in definition today. Thank you so much, Ashish. I think so it has been a valuable discussion for our audience who have been watching this. A good time to discuss and take it forward. Thank you very much once again and accepting our invite at a very short notice.
Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you.
Thank you.